the rising leader understands that what they project has an impact on others emotionally. It has an impact on the work that they produce and the goals that you ultimately have. So that person's sensitive to all of that, treats others with care, but also acknowledges that they're in control of themselves ultimately and everything that emanates.
Welcome to the Rising Leader Podcast, bringing forth the new wave of rising leadership and helping leaders find purpose, connection, and results. This is your host, founder of Alluviance, Alex Kremer. Welcome back to the Rising Leader Podcast. And if this is your first time joining us, welcome to the show. This is your host, Alex Kremer. I am joined by someone who I've been looking forward to this show for a good amount of time now. I think it's a Friday here in New York City, and it is beautiful out. And I remember on Monday, I saw that I had this show scheduled. I was like, man, this is going to be a good show here. I'm joined by the amazing, the wonderful Jared Robin. And first off, what's up, Jared? Good to see you,
man. What's up, Alex? I wish we had more time. I wish we had like 3 hours to just record, like Lex Friedman style.
Let's go Joe Rogan podcast, just like completely let it rip.
Yeah. If there's a lot of success to it, we should do this again because I love speaking with you, and I'm appreciative to be here.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, let me just provide a little bit of intro on you, and I'll let you fill in the blank. So, Jared, you are the co-founder of Rev Genius, which is a community of more than 35,000 revenue generating sales and marketing professionals. Really, and I'm inspired by this, is just bringing people together to learn, to share, to support, to grow each other. And in addition to that, you're the founding member of Rev Room, which is a community of some of the most respected leaders within the technology space. And in addition to that, you have some of the best flow in the game. And I would say, as someone who is growing my hair out, I aspire to, have a great man bun such as yourself. And I'll also say,
is that a goal of yours? Because I have a hairstylist I'll give you. I have product I'll suggest.
I'm surprised we actually haven't talked about this yet, because yes, it is a goal of mine, and so okay. I could definitely take some good notes from you.
I have somebody close to where I live in Brooklyn that is phenomenal.
Okay.
But keep growing it. Keep growing it. Unfortunately, go through the awkward phase and we'll get there.
There's many awkward phases. I'm in my 18th awkward phase, and that's just the story of my life at this point.
Oh, bad.
But
so, yeah.
Jared, you and I, we met out in Brooklyn. I think, what is that, like a month or so ago? I got a coffee with you. I think you were cool drinking a Liquid Death. And
then we talked about Liquid Death.
We talked about Liquid Death for a long time. But you taught me a lot in that conversation. I've thought about a lot, and really about, what does it mean to build community? What does it mean to really own your path and just be your full freaking self? And, we've been able to keep in touch and chat here and there. And I'm inspired by what you're doing. So, I'm excited just to kind of dive in and see, like, what makes you, man? Like, why are you doing what you're doing?
Man, I think everybody's goal, whether they admit it or not, is to do something they want to be doing from top to bottom, so to speak. Like that just aligns. Alignment is so critical in a company's growth, and it's so critical in your personal growth. If your parents forcing you to do math and you just aren't good at it or whatever, and forcing you here or there, like, you might do it because you're being forced. You might do it because the people around you are doing it, a different level. If you're not being forced, you might do it because you think it's what you should be doing. And a lot of people have been in each of those levels, but is it what you truly want to be doing? So, like, over the course of life, you need to have some of those conversations and with yourself, and even if it means making a lateral move or taking a step back, right? Like, all the people going from not SaaS into SaaS, a lot of them are making lateral moves if they're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even know if that's congruent. They think, but this is what they think they should do, right? And they're doing this. I think just being aligned top to bottom is what got me here today. And frankly, before Rev Genius, I used my side hustles, so to speak. I'd call them passion projects. I didn't care to make money from them. I cared. I kind of wanted to, but like I wasn't like hell bent on it. But I realized the need to have passion and in something I work with during my life, not just a hobby, because I wanted to, 360 like do this. So like I launched a fashion magazine because I sat down with my best friend at the time and we said, what do we really like out of life? We were both a little disenfranchised. I wasn't getting paid on time. My first SaaS job, he was a nightclub promoter and he wanted to get out. We're like, let's keep it simple. We like fashion, we like fitness, and we like fun. Like, what does that look like together? And we distilled that fashion was what we liked the most. And we're like, okay, great. We know nothing about fashion. What are we going to do? Go get entry-level jobs in fashion? Like as a 30-year-old, like get like a 30K, 40K job? I'm like, that doesn't sound interesting. I said, let's just create a blog. Let's brand it as a magazine, a digital magazine, and let's figure it out. And we did. And that led me to doing like fashion technology, which didn't work out, which led me to other things. Like we all have this journey of trying to figure out, and I hope we're maximizing this. Some of us are not. And it's to no fault of us, right? Like it's just fear disguised as practicality, right? Along the way. But like, yeah, just, and I had that right up until I was forced to do Rev Genius. Then I just said, like, you know what? Shit was so dire in COVID, especially without a job. I'm like, if it's not now, it's never. So I was able to like fully align and then just go all in.
I mean, I think there's a lot of people who feel that same way of, is this really congruent with what I'm trying to do? And maybe at one point they did feel that way. Like I know a lot of people who, I even look at like between the years of 2018 to 2021, for many, that was the golden age of tech. Like everybody had money, everybody was selling deals. And if you were selling in the tech space to the tech space, like you're most likely doing well.
Yeah.
And since crossing that threshold of COVID and in 2022 and beyond, people have now started to say, is this really what I'm meant to be doing? Like it filled me up and it fulfilled me so much at one point, but a lot of people are now questioning, so what is it? If it's not this, what is it? And I think it's impressive that you had, so to speak, the cojones to try it. Make a fashion, digital magazine that is so unique and different, and also, outside of your comfort zone.
Dude, I was leaving, like, I was work from home before work from home was a thing. So like I had a lot more flexibility. I'd like pick up garments at like lunch, from uptown, prepare fashion shoots during the day, hop on sales calls in the afternoon. And we had a joke. We worked 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. every day because he was a nightclub promoter, remember? So like I'd have to go out at night to have business conversations with him because the dude slept till 3 p.m. I had to talk to him about that at some point as well. But like, dude, what a time. Like it's not even cojones. Like it's a bigger risk to not do what you want, or like not exhaust your ambition and what you truly want. And it's a challenge for many because they need a day job to live.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a big challenge that I empathize with all the way. I challenge back to do a passion side hustle. You'll always have excuses for not doing something. Why don't you create some for doing it?
Mm-hmm.
And if you have the money coming in, okay, so you work extra hours. If you have a family, okay, I see that excuse too. And I understand it, and it makes a lot of sense. But there's a will, there's a way. I don't know. Wake up at 4 a.m. I do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the concept of the side hustle in the past 12 months has become more relevant than anything. I mean, it's always been a thing, but more people are not just doing it, but they're advertising it. And organizations and companies that you have a W-2 on, they're supporting it. And in fact, I see, how many people do we see posting on LinkedIn, giving a small—
They don't post about their day job. They post about their side hustle.
They post about their side. I mean, they're account executives or they're sales leaders, and they're posting sales tactics. They have like a free, a mini course. They have, whatever it might be. And at the end of the day, though, that's also creating a great brand for whatever company that they're at, because, hey, this person has a great brand. They represent our company to a capacity. Why wouldn't I support that?
I love it. I love that there's building a culture of doing things on the side. I feel that there's a culture right now that the side hustles have to be the same thing they do for the day job to help the next people. Like there's a massive cult. Like if you asked 20 people what their side hustles were that had side hustles, I find it hard to believe that 19 of them didn't directly involve the audience that they're talking about on LinkedIn. Like to create like a fashion magazine, like get out of here. Nobody's so my follow-up to that is, it doesn't need to be a fashion magazine, but is this really your passion, or is this what you learned in a course? Mm-hmm. Is this you just trying to make more money, or are you following your passion? And there's nothing wrong with making more money. A lot of jobs don't pay what you need to make to even live in a city like New York, right? And I get that, and that's good. But like going back to the original point of aligning with your, like, what do you really want to do? I want to teach SDR boot camps. He said no one ever. Said no one. Said no 16-year-old ever, I should say. Right? Like I wanted to do TJB Auto Detailing, Troy Jared Bryan, and I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And it took me 20 years to realize that. And then along the way, I had other like passions. Like I was really into the arts and stuff, and I wanted to figure out. And I don't want to knock solopreneur. You can make $1 million a year. You can make $3 million a year doing this, and that's big and important. And that's massive, and that could buy you freedom. But I gently push back to be like, is that what you really want? Like, are you still in the same conundrum? You just have more money. And that's a big important thing, right? Like, do you like your job more? Is it more aligned because you're making $1 million a year, or you're getting paid fairly?
Well, I mean, I think
it doesn't necessarily make you happier, and the passion side project might not make you happier either. But I think aligning is a path towards being joyful.
Yeah, I think aligning is valuable because and I'm all for like having a tech sales job hypothetically, and then running a fashion magazine, if that's truly what makes you fulfilled. But also what that can cause you to do is feel like you're doing and living two different types of lives. What I do think is important, that if you are doing, a side hustle, there needs to be some sort of like movement that in terms of both, or intertwinement between both, that's moving towards the same general vision, the same general goal, because then you can just show up and you can be being your authentic self within both, knowing that it's all going towards whatever mission or service you're trying to provide.
I love that. And you're going to get a lot further doing that. I guess in my journey, I wanted to get out of this. And that's kind of why I built in this, because I realized there's others disenfranchised too. Your path is a smarter one, probably.
Well, let's talk about this now. So, you started Rev Genius. How long ago did you start Rev Genius?
3 years come June officially.
Okay. And, by the way, if you have not given Jared a follow on LinkedIn, please make sure you do so. He's producing not just great content. I mean, he's just got one of the best and coolest profile pictures I'd say out there on the game. His hair is hanging down. What car are you squatting down?
It's a DeLorean. Right? And it's from an art exhibit when I was in the art space exploring that. My CEO took it at the time. So that's why I felt it was LinkedIn appropriate. If your CEO takes a picture, like, of course, and the gull wings were up. It is a Daniel Arsham. Do you know Daniel Arsham? Art exhibit. Daniel Arsham is a cool contemporary artist that's done some collaborations with some lifestyle brands and stuff, and it's cool, dude.
Okay. Well, it's an amazing picture, and
thank you.
Squatting right in front of a DeLorean is pretty badass there. So. And it's also just very you. It's just like owning your uniqueness, owning you're just like, this is just who I am. And it creates a transmission coming from just your profile in terms of representation of what is Rev Genius, what is Rev Room, who is Jared Robin. And, I guess I would love to understand, Rev Genius has now been around for 3 years. You've got about 35,000 people within this community. You're continuing to connect and create more. I mean, now Rev Room is around with, leaders of some of the best tech companies, and that's really starting to gain a lot of momentum. Take me back. How did you go about, you were in SaaS, then you started a digital fashion magazine, and then you're now starting, Rev Room. How did this all come about, and how have you now seen the type of success that you have now?
Yeah. I think from leaving FedEx and going to tech, it's the most important move of my professional career. It got me so uncomfortable for so many reasons. Not getting paid on time, no product market fit, starting a product with no clients, no money in my account or the company's account at some point. But right around that time, I made a point, and it was about 10 years ago, to do what I wanted. And I think that's a big thing. So the fashion magazine, you think about it, there's editorials and fashion shoot productions where you have models, photographers, hair and makeup stylists, all of this. You put it together in a digital format and you view it. We've won International Fashion Film Awards. That's all great. What you see, like the output, but the input to that was a lot of people working together for a common good. And the reason why it was so cool, outside of the heavy curation, and I'd like to take some credit for having decent taste with what we did there and what we created. What was so cool was we had no budget on anything, certainly no serious budget, maybe budget to buy lunch for people, no more than that. And have all these people coming together for the common good. And what was the common good at the time? What was the problem that we were solving? And this is a key thing that gets sometimes, I feel, lost on communities, because the problem that the community that joins the SaaS problem is solving is to drive demand for the SaaS product or to help the customers of the SaaS problem. I get it, but let's think of the true challenge. So the problem we were solving, and what we realized with creating this, was emerging designers, people under 5 years old, were overshadowed by big fashion brands, all the ones that you know and love, fashion and lifestyle, everywhere, in publications, on runways, in events, all of this. And we're we went to the shop and found all these incredible designs that we liked even more than the mainstream stuff. And we're oh, these are all emerging people? Oh, so they actually have better stuff? This is easy to support. So creating really good content with a really good purpose around people all going for the common good. The thing I miss the most is probably the community of folks around it, like coming to our mag launch parties and all of this. So the community thing started. Then a couple of my day jobs, so to speak, became marketplace jobs where I was connecting buyers and sellers, supply and demand for the marketplace, which is really community as well. And I just started leaning in to all these vibes, and it just became natural to build community because I took away the product, so to speak, and let the community be the product, and let the people be part of the experience, I guess. But that was the evolution. Like the magazine, just like working together, and like, oh my gosh, imagine winning Best International Fashion Film on a call from a WeWork when you're disenfranchised at an enterprise sales job, and you get this call, and you walk out of the room with your VP, and you walk into like the common area where they can't listen, and you're told that you won Best International Fashion Film. You say, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Do you do that on the spot? Right then and there, you got that call, and then you say, I quit, I'm done with this.
No, I didn't. I didn't have those types of kahunas, nor that type of bank account to support it.
Yeah. Well, I think you make a really good point. It's always been about community. And I don't know how many people I'm hearing it from, and myself very much included. Everybody's saying, I just want community. I need community. It's like everybody's wanting it, and the way that people are communicating, nobody has it. And I don't know why that is. I mean, like, is it because everybody's working from home? Everybody is at a job. Everybody's looking over the person they're talking to shoulder and saying, you're not it. There's something better out there. Like this concept of community that you've really built for the sales and marketing world. Like, how have you now gone about even creating this community? And what is even the problem with why are so many freaking people saying I want community and not having it?
I think people really want community much more now than 10 years ago, even in this space, because they're not afraid of like what their company will say anymore. They don't give a shit. Like they like, I don't know how long you've been in this game, so to speak, but like, there's a time when you went to work, you went home, and you did something completely else, and you didn't care, and you wanted to like wash your hands from it. But like a combination of social media, but specifically LinkedIn, like opening the door for like it to be okay to like bring who you are to your job and to take it. And to keep it going without the job part, but like with other people in the space, really opened up people to like realize that it's out there, and then people want it because they want help solving, a challenge they may have. They might want help, and those challenges might be temporary, like trying to find a job. Hey, I need a better network now or community to help me get into SaaS. That's a common one where they've built a lot of stuff up, or just through leadership challenge. You take your first leadership role. I need like a network of people. I don't just need a mentor. I just want more than that. And community sprouted up in response to that. The problem, like going back to the problem we solved with the fashion magazine, the problem we solved with RevGenius, or are continuously solving, was a space for everybody. I felt, whether I was right or wrong, from what I saw, there wasn't a space that was open, inclusive of everybody from a senior leader to an individual contributor, like early in their careers, for no money. Like there was some other communities. So we created the space, and it took off, I believe, because people like had a space. And why they say they need community now, we might not be solving their needs right now. And it's hard to solve everybody's needs. A lot of people have very niche needs, but we are being thoughtful to rebuild community within RevGenius. More to come on that. Build more small community with RevRoom. And I'm just building community this year. And when I say building community, I'm not acquiring more members per se, although with Rev Room, that's a natural progression that I need to acquire more members. But with Rev Genius, I'm sure our target, we have some growth targets, but like they're not like crazy from like net new. They're crazier with like building stuff in to engage more and to build more spaces and to simplify things. We can't be everything to everybody. Early on, we tried to be, and then we were nothing to, I mean, I don't want to say we're nothing to nobody, but we weren't as powerful as we could have been. And we were powerful. So I hope, so people are looking for community because, and today I did an exercise on LinkedIn, just how easy it is to create community. My suggestion, if you're looking for community, is super niche. I got off the phone this morning with somebody looking for like a leader looking for a fintech community for GMs. I'm like, we're not going to create that anytime soon. And the reason why, because he had very specific needs, around actuary stuff, like different levels of risk and all. I'm like, wow, I certainly empathize with your need for that. And yeah, people have needs that aren't satisfied all the time. So create it yourself, invite other people. But on LinkedIn today, I said, hey, just comment that you want in and I'll show you how to build one like right now. And we have like this LinkedIn DM popping now group with like people introducing themselves and stuff. And I said, tomorrow I'm going to explain why that's not all you need, because you need to solve a core challenge. But yeah.
I mean, let's talk about the concept of community real quick, because, like, what really is it? Like, when I think about myself being in community, there's this feeling of like, this is my crew. Like, I've got a backstop here. Like, I can be myself, and also I can share openly and honestly what the hell I'm struggling with. Or not even just like what I'm struggling with, like, even if it was a community for sales professionals, I can be honest, be like, hey, I don't know how to do powerful discovery, and just be that. But there's not a fear that comes with it as much. It's more of like, I feel more whole, of just like, I'm taken care of. I'm being supported. There's a foundation for it. And how, the leader or the person who's creating the container actually creates a space or creates an environment to allow that to occur, I think goes overlooked very often, because it's not just, hey, let me just get a whole bunch of people together and they're all have similar backgrounds and they all have similar problems and let's like talk about stuff.
That's an association or something.
Yeah. Like, a community is something different, and it takes a certain transmission coming from the person who's getting the people together, and also getting a certain transmission coming from one or two or three leaders who are individuals within the community, participants, but who are willing to, take that first step, to break the ice, to really go there. And, sales leaders can do that for their team. Like, you can create community on your sales team. You can create community within your culture, within your company, whatever it might be. But it's different there. It's a different feeling. It's a different taste. Well, I'm curious if you have any thoughts on that, or like what do you do to actually create that feeling there?
It's funny. We just changed our mission that aligns more with what you're saying. Like, I think it's a lot of little things. So our updated mission for Rev Genius is we want to create trusted spaces for curious revenue professionals who are collaborating on the future of B2B go-to-market. Those three words I gave emphasis on: trusted, curious, collaborative. And there's my camera went out. Hold on.
Went out.
Give me 1 second here.
So yeah,
I hope you're enjoying this so far.
I am very much enjoying this so far,
because I feel like I'm so fucking tired. I apologize that I might be like not as concise as I could be.
It's good. It's good. I want to keep on talking about this thing. So you just changed the mission of Rev Room.
Oh, so Rev Genius. Rev Genius. So I wanted to focus on trust. Community is another value of ours, clearly, but trust, curiosity, and collaboration. collaboration, working together, right? Like it's understanding that everyone can give, and then setting rules and foundation. Rules. I hate saying rules, but guidance, right? Like stuff like give more than you receive, being like a rule, really helps set the pace. Does it mean everybody's going to do it? No, but it does mean that's how you're going to moderate. Like don't sell, no promotion, like limit the things that are like me, unless it like directly benefits a conversation happening. Like if you're talking about sales engagement platforms and you say, hey, have you heard of Outreach? That makes some sense. But if you're talking about nothing and you say, have you heard of Outreach? It's pretty rad. That becomes much more obviously promotional and a whole different energy, right? Like one case is you're finessing it. It's like, oh yeah, duh, this is a cool point. In the other case, you're being a self-promoting person. So it also, you also need at the top to build a culture. Our first 500 members or so, I've vetted to an extent before, like everyone could come in, but I wanted to make sure the first 500 people had like a certain energy, and it's sounds so subjective and so weird, but like it started with like our first 25, like they were all tight knit, and I wanted them to recommend people that they liked, right? Like that they thought were good people, that had similar vibes to them, and they did. And a culture of like listening to them and like what they want to have versus just telling and putting structure in is important for the success of the group, but also for the success of the culture. It's listening and understanding what's a need to have versus a nice to have versus what they think they need, but they don't need really. Like rewording figuring out what they actually need. I've had those conversations quite a bit, and yeah. So setting that pace, moderation is big. Moderation's big. You have 35,000 people. You can't set the pace for 35,000 without moderation. You cannot.
What does moderation mean to you?
It means a combination of things. It means teaching people like when they're doing something wrong, and deleting that type of content in Slack or and other platforms. It's starting the conversation too, like based on like hot topics and helping the direction of the conversation.
That's a key thing that you are needing to do, right? You are the one who's being required to set the pace. I mean, you're the one who's facilitating the conversation, the topic. If you're wanting to create an environment where people open up and be vulnerable, like you first need to set the tone.
100%. 100%. And moderation is also tagging people in.
Yeah.
When somebody asks a phenomenal question, you tag phenomenal people in that can answer the question better than you. And it's also answering the question yourself. If you know the answer, I got this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is what it is. It's being vulnerable yourself. It's being transparent. Yep. I think transparency is when you're transparent, whether you're running a team or a community, there's going to be inherent confidence that's just put into you because like I trust this person. Trust is like the most important thing, right? And transparency leads to trust. So like people love like so telling them the good, the bad, and the ugly, and getting ahead of it all. They love it, and what they appreciate it, I should say. And the best part is the ugly. They'll probably like pat you on the shoulder and say, "That's not bad." Mm-hmm. Like I made that mistake 5 times. So then when you do that back and forth, it's like, yeah, sorry, I blasted everybody in our database. Something just meant for a few people, or I did hey first name, right? Like on an email to the community, and it's like it's, you know, it's
Makes
funny.
you human.
We stole, we borrowed HBO's response, like, hey, we want to say it was the intern. It actually was, but we love her, and and it's on all of us and all of this. I forget what they said. It was so human and it was so cool. So anything you could do to build trust. It's also, so this isn't necessarily moderation, but this is building that energy. It's doing everything in your power to be an advocate for the people in the community. Get people jobs for $0. And giving more than you take yourself, way more than you take, is essential. Be the number one giver.
I mean, that's being an advocate for others. I mean, I think there's the fine line between, am I building this community for me so that I can be, built up and make myself feel worthy and make myself, in front of this, or am I really, just creating a powerful community that other people are getting lifted up? That's my job as I facilitate this. Even as a team leader, how often have we seen different types of sales leaders who say, I'm so great, look how much my team is producing in terms of revenue, versus the people who say, like, look how great my team is, look how great Kurt and Laura and Clara, all these different types of people are who are producing the revenue. I'm just the person who might be leading the team.
So with community, I think to an extent you do it for yourself, but not to make yourself popular. You do it for yourself because you're creating something yourself 3 years ago wished they had. Mm-hmm. And you realize that there's a lot of yourselves out there. And that's how you get the empathy sauce, right? Because like you yourself wish you had that. And then you hear other people saying that too. And it's like, wow, like you get like real deep empathy from that. So like you create it for yourself to satisfy your professional needs, not to satisfy your ego needs or other things. And I think that's natural, and I think that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize along the way, like that's day one. And then you realize along the way, like, oh my gosh, there's so much more. And like, you hear all the stuff, and then it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, cause I think you have to feel the problem, like day one that you start it, you have to feel it. Like, you can't just say like this group out here. And I think I was on another podcast and I said like, pollution's a problem. I'm going to create a community. Like, if I don't feel that,
right,
it's not going to be authentic. So like day one, you need to feel it, and then see other things, and then you can learn to feel easier. Like the one-off.
You need to be excited by the problem that you're trying to solve for. Yeah. I mean, even going back to what we were talking about for people developing all these side gigs, all these sales reps, all these sales leaders who are starting to post more about sales and about tactics and strategies. It's because they, you said it best. It's like, look back on who you were and what you were struggling with 2 to 3 years ago. That's the person that you get to serve. That's the person that you say, hey, I know what they're struggling with. Mm-hmm. I know methodologies or ways or mindsets in order to get through it. Let me give back. And very few people do that. And it's like, yeah, I'm, sure, I don't want, pollution and climate change, but like, I'm not feeling it every single day. I think it's such a good point of, you have to be in it to create community around it.
Yeah. Like I don't drive a car. I'm sure you don't either. Like things around that aren't going to hit as hard. And if it doesn't hit as hard, I'm not going to be as good at it, and I'm not going to be as good at being the conduit. Is that even the right word? Like bringing it to market. Mm-hmm. Although there's exceptions with that, man. I'm sure we could come up with a bunch, but that's just me.
So let me ask you this: so you are obviously, talking with tech sales professionals and tech sales leaders literally every single day. You are in these deep conversations. You are facilitating powerful transformation, just community. What are you seeing right now? like, what are people struggling with that you just have an inside view because your people are being openly intimate with you, you know, because of who you are and what you've created? What are people struggling with?
You know, it all depends on who you're speaking to the most at the moment, because everybody has their own struggles. So right now, people are looking for jobs. I'm not spent. I in the past I spent so much time on that. Like I'm just spread so thin, so many ways. But people are still looking for jobs. Companies are hiring. Companies are laying off quite a bunch of people. I mean, that's public knowledge. You're seeing it. It's a difficult time right now in the market. It's difficult. People aren't hitting their numbers. I think whatever stats of people hitting their numbers last, it's below. I think it might even be quite a bit below. You have many exceptions when you have amazing leaders like yourself. You know, you might be chugging along just fine, but a lot of folks out there, I think people are struggling with outbound. Outbound's changing. What worked a year ago doesn't work today. What worked 5 years ago definitely doesn't work today. But ironically, what worked 10 years ago does. Cold calling, right? Like it's weird. Companies aren't doing a good job enabling. Reps early stage might not have, you know, the go-getter chops that the last generation had, you know, figuring it out themselves or whatever. Like there's so many different dynamics. Leaders are looking for smaller spaces with other leaders, exclusive, that they aren't necessarily getting elsewhere. Some leaders are looking to transition into fractional roles. There's just so much going on. I think the big takeaway is change. Change will always happen, but like, yeah, there's a whole transformation of everything being done differently, being open to, like no playbook can translate to the next company or the next year without probably significant modification, to tell you the truth.
I couldn't agree more with you. Everything's changing. And everything's, I mean, when you start to add in AI, ChatGPT, everything is changing in terms of how we do outbound, how we close deals, in terms of how you enable people, how you create culture.
Go to market motions. You're product led now. You're sales led last year. You're both tomorrow. Like figuring out how to, all the same old challenges with VCs with shorter leashes, so to speak, right now. Money is not flowing plentifully, so that creates a lot of stress on the system.
Yeah.
So seeing all of that, change is the big, like change is so big. Leaders wanting to do personal branding, SDR is doing personal branding so well that they get leadership roles somewhere. Like you see everything. It's crazy.
Yeah. So
people wanting to be that SDR, not realizing why. People testing influencer marketing and having various levels of success and blah blah blah.
So let me ask you this. So I have one more question for you here, and I love this conversation because it's about what I care about most, and also what you just touched on there of like everything is changing. There's a part of me that just was like, all right, I'm not the only one who feels it. And if people are saying this is the way, this is how you do it, you know, sure, there's a perspective, but nobody's sure. Nobody is 100% confident. And even if it is right today, tomorrow it could be wrong. And that requires a certain amount of letting go with that. And my last question is this.
And just quickly, we don't have time to, like, you have to get ahead of everything, but you don't have time. Nobody has time. Like what? You should spend 12 hours a day learning AI. I honestly think you should. You don't have the time though. If you did, I do think you would get ahead of it and have, but let the next round of AI startups figure that out instead of you, and then you pay them a SaaS subscription. We're all good.
Yeah, that's a good call out right there. I think what it's requiring and asking of all of us is just like, be present. Like we're continuously, trying to move away from the past and trying to move towards the future. And now they're one of those places that are going to make us happy. Only thing we can do is just like be where you are.
I think not only is this poignant, it's important. And I think if you look at the commonalities, like for the last 5 years, what's happened over the years to change? Sure. An increase in noise, social media, Gumroad courses, people promoting themselves, all of this, and tooling. When the economy was good, geez, we probably 10x sales tools, right? But an increase in noise. And when you have an increase in noise, you can do two things. You could like run around like a chicken without its head. Like it'll keep increasing. Like you're never going to catch up to it, and that's going to do something internally to you that's gonna be triggering in some ways. Or you could just say that that's part of it, and to your point, be present and not let it really sway you in one way or another emotionally.
Man, we could. You're right. This should have been a 3-hour podcast because I could have really just.
We have more. Up. Like we'll get everyone excited, and we'll do 2 hours next time. Yeah.
Yeah. So first off, before my last question, Jared, I just want to acknowledge you, man. Thank you for just being real. Thank you for developing the community that you are, and also inspiring me as I develop community, and other people who are listening to the show develop community. It's you're blazing a trail by fully fucking being you, dog. Like, and I acknowledge and I see you for that, and it's having a massive transmission in the world.
Thank you. And thank you for being you and for pursuing everything that is you.
Yeah, man. Working on it every single day. And here's my final question for you. We talked about a lot today. Community, the changes happening, all of it. The show is obviously called the Rising Leader Podcast. What do you view as the rising leader?
Help me what or how or so the person that's the rising leader is somebody that's true to themselves and that's honest with themselves. So even if they don't know something, whether it's literally like on how to scale their business or their team, or emotionally get triggered by something, it's being real with that all. And the rising leader is real with themselves so that they could project realness to the team around them, whether it's on the same level because you're not that leader yet, or you just became a leader and it's to your team. This is critical. The rising leader understands that what they project has an impact on others emotionally, and has an impact. And if it has an impact on others emotionally, it has an impact on the work that they produce and the goals that you ultimately have. So that person's sensitive to all of that, treats others with care, but also acknowledges that they're in control of themselves ultimately and everything that emanates.
That was a pretty fire answer, man. Thank you for that. Well, Jared, man, thank you for being on the show, dog. It was awesome doing this, and I can't wait for part 2, maybe even part 3. We just create this.
If we do part 2 at 3.5 hours, which I'm not opposed to at all, it would have to be like a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah,
it would have to be in person. That would be rad. That we could just do that.
Let's do that. So, for all the listeners, thank you as always for joining the Rising Leader Podcast. If you like this, make sure you give Jared a follow on LinkedIn. make sure you check out Rev Genius as well. He is creating such great community there. And if you listen to this and you know somebody needs to listen as well, make sure you share it and spread the good word. So thank you as always, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening to the Rising Leader Podcast. Make sure you hit that follow button so you get notified every time a new episode releases. If you know someone who wants to take their lives and their career to the next level, send them this episode so we can all rise together. For more information, check out alluviance.co. We'll see you next time. And in the meantime, keep letting it flow.